Good afternoon and welcome to today's Video Creation for Teachers webinar. I'm Ailey Mackay, I'm a Google certified trainer and I'm delighted to be joined by Darren White, who will add in now for today's session. Darren will be guiding you through this. He is most definitely the expert between the two of us here, and I am going to be a very interested listener in the background, and I will also be supporting you with any questions that you have, highlighting them to Darren during this live stream too. If you do have any questions during today's session, there is a doc in the chat that you're welcome to access, or if you do have the ability to sign into YouTube, you will be able to sign in and contribute in the chat just down the right hand side of this video. Darren, welcome to today's session.
Hi Ailey, thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
It's great to have you. I'm going to hand over to you now, Darren, but just to highlight, if you do have questions, please make use of that chat. We are here to help you throughout. Hope you enjoy it.
Brilliant. Right, well, let's get started then. First of all, I'm just going to kind of introduce myself and just let us know basically what we're going to be focusing on this afternoon. So we're looking at how those of us using Google Workspace can integrate really seamlessly with third-party products. And WeVideo is a fantastic example of that. For those people who don't know me, my name is Darren White, as Ailey said. I'm an educational technologist, Google for Education certified innovator, trainer and coach. I'm also co-leader of GEG UK, Global GEG. I'm a WeVideo ambassador, amongst many other things as well. And just like to keep myself busy learning new technology and supporting staff in learning and developing. So the first thing I think is important to bear in mind is, obviously over the last year, there's been an awful lot of demand for videos and things like that because of online learning, because of the COVID situation, everything else. But WeVideo is great for both synchronous and asynchronous learning because it gives you the opportunity to create your own resources and present that to students in a way that's accessible to them at a time that's accessible to them. So it might be a recap of a video, or it might be a instructional video around about a certain topic that you provide to students asynchronously for them to watch at home. Or it might be that actually you create a video for the students to watch in lessons. And that could be a long drawn out video, or it could be a very, very simple 30-second GIF that just models a process. And you want to make that really easy for the students to remember. So you may just play it over and over again on a loop, linked into the background of your Jamboard or however you might want to do it. Okay, so we're going to jump in and we're going to take a look at WeVideo. We're going to look at, firstly, how simple it is, all of the advantages, and how you can make sure that you're getting the most out of WeVideo as a tool. So I'm just going to jump out of the presentation there, and I'm going to come into the WeVideo sign-in page. And I'm just going to log out there and log back in again. So as you can see, first of all, on the sign-in page for WeVideo, you can use single sign-on very easily with Google or Facebook, or you can sign up here, really simple, at wevideo.com. So I've already signed in, I've already got my account. So obviously I'm just going to click sign in with Google, and I'm going to choose the account that's linked to it. And that's going to take me into my WeVideo dashboard. Now, if you sign up and you get the free account, you can make videos up to 5 minutes in length, and you have the opportunity to pretty much do everything that we're going to do today. The only difference is that you will get a watermark in the corner of the screen. I'm actually on a paid account, which means as a school's account, I'm also the admin. So as an admin, I can go in and I can see who all the different members of the school are, what settings they've got. I can add them to specific groups, and I can also get out usage reports. So as the admin, that's really useful. As a teacher, you can create class groups or subgroups within a class for collaboration. You can manage permission settings, and that's quite important. So I'm just going to jump into that really quickly and have a look at the student settings. And you can see here, you've got options which are very, very straightforward, simple toggles that allow you or don't allow you to share whatever you've created to various different platforms. So for example, here, students would be allowed to share to Google Drive, but they wouldn't be allowed to share to Facebook, for example. Whereas a teacher, if I click on that, again, can share to Google Drive, but might also share to Box, Dropbox, OneDrive, but still not share to Facebook directly. So you've got that element of control as the admin over what goes where. And the fact that things just automatically save into Drive is fantastic. But before we get into all of that, we're going to go back into the main screen, and you can see it's pretty straightforward. What's lovely is you get these templates that are already made for you, and you can basically just tweak them. So this is a mini lesson. We've got a morning meeting style one there. We've got a read aloud if you're doing guided reading with students. There's an exit ticket. There's a template for an awards ceremony, morning announcements, graduation quotations, event promos, and all sorts of things. And all of these come preloaded and ready. So if I take the event promo, for example, and I just click here, it starts to create that template for me. And it just takes a little bit of time. And you can see that if I start editing here, right to the bottom of the screen, we've got our content. Here, I've got a whole series of folders. I've got all of my controls at the top here, and I've got my actual preview screen here. Now, looking at this at the bottom, you might think, blimey, that looks really confusing. And if it makes you feel any better, a year ago, almost to the day, I had never done any video editing before. And I went through the WeVideo communities training guide and got myself all the way to gold, and am now a WeVideo ambassador. And I'm just doing it on a daily basis, and I hardly even have to think about it anymore. But when I first opened up this, I was a little bit scared. But these are pre-made for you, and all you need to do is just to click on each section, and you can see what it is it's showing. So we can see that this one is saying special thanks. This one here is what's your talent. And if I double click that, I can just change that text really, really easily, or change the color if I want to and make it much simpler. I can change the font as well if I want to. It's really, really easy to do. And then I can just click Save Changes. Okay, so it's not as complicated as it looks, but we're going to start from scratch. Okay, so I'm just going to close this, and I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to create a new video. Okay, so this gives me a complete blank canvas, and I'm going to create this one in my where are we? There we go, my demo folder, which I've created, and I'm just going to click Start Editing. Now, one of the things I love about WeVideo is that you don't actually need to have any footage of your own to be able to create a really good video, because there's over 1 million items in the stock media. So if you look at the top left-hand corner here, we can see stock media, and I've got a search bar here, and we can see some examples coming up already. And I've also got the option to change that to search for just videos, images, and audio. And I can also favorite things as well if I know I want to use them a lot. So say, for example, I wanted to find a news intro of some description. I can just search for that, and it's going to give me all of these kind of options. So as you can see that there's various different things here I can choose from. I think I'm going to go with this one, the animation text breaking news. This lasts for 10 seconds, so I know that's a video. If there's no time, I know it's a set image, okay? But I'm going to use that one up there. And all I've got to do, if I want to favorite it for use later, I can just click there and just click the favorite. But all I do is I drag it down into video channel 1, and I'll put it right at the start. If I want to preview what that looks like, I can just come over to the preview panel and click the play button here. And there we go. So you can see there's no sound. It's just a silent video with the breaking news captions there. So I might want a newsroom intro sound effect to go with it. So instead of searching all, I'm now going to go to audio and see what there is. Now there's nothing showing up here, but that may be because of my search criteria. So I'm just going to say news intro this time. and all of a sudden we get a whole different selection. So we've got breaking news theme here that's 20 seconds long. Now our entry is 10 seconds. I'm going to use this 20-second one, and I'm going to drag it into the audio channel there. Okay, so at the moment what will happen is our intro will play. And then as soon as we get to the end of the track of the video, it obviously goes black because it's not got any video to show. So what we can do with this is a number of things. We've got this audio track in here now. If I want to, I can click on it and I can drag it back just by clicking and dragging back to the same length as the actual video itself. And also, if I click on it, you can see I get these 3 lines here. I click that again. Oh, it's not going to open it up big enough. So you've got this slider bar here, which enables you to see things in more detail. So you can just drag that up and it will extend things for you. So there we go. So I'm going to click and get the sound file, and it's going to give me the option either to change the volume level or to fade it in and fade it out. And you'll notice that's done that automatically for me. So it's going to fade in, and at the end, it's going to fade out again. But each one of these little white dots, I can move anywhere I like. Just by clicking on them, I can drag them down. So if I don't want the music to be as loud, I can have it at 30% volume. And just bring it down here. If I want it to go up in the middle, I can click anywhere along that blue line and add another dot. And then I can just do that kind of thing. If I wanted it to drop in the middle, I can do exactly the same. And then if I preview that, you'll notice that it drops down and then comes back up again. If I don't like that, any of these white dots, if I double click on them, they will just disappear. So I'm just double clicking and that's going back now. So we're at 30% volume running through that video. Okay, so that's our start of our intro. But what we've established is that the breaking news is that there's a tiger on the loose. I'm just going to do a search for tiger. And I'm going to make sure that I'm searching all again. Okay. And you notice I didn't even have to press anything there. It just started searching for me straight away. And we want one that's on the loose. So let's see what we've got here. Let's go with this, guys. He's apparently an undomesticated cat, which is one way of naming a tiger, I suppose. So I put my tiger in there now. And what I've got is my breaking news and then straight to a tiger. Okay, and it will just jump straight from one to the other. There we go. Okay, so there's no transition in there or anything like that. If I want to, I can do the same as I did with the audio. I can click here, and this time I can fade the opacity so that fades in and out as well, if I want to. So instead of it being automatic jump from one to the other, it starts to fade in like that. Or I can come to the top here and add a transition. So I click on transitions and I've got a whole range of things to choose from. So you've got swipes, curtains, paper planes, all sorts of different options, cross blurs, dips to black. So I might put a dip to black there just to make that breaking news drop out and then come back in again. So let's try that. There we go. And the tiger's back in. I might decide that I want a little bit more of a fade in on him. So I'm just going to drag that and get rid of it. And now we've got a fade in for the tiger. So we've got our tiger on the loose, but I might not want him full screen. So I'm going to go and say, double click on here. I can fit it to the screen size, or I can use this slider to scale it however I want. So I can have it bigger or smaller, or I can pick up the corners and adjust it myself. So if I wanted, for example, a newsroom kind of layout, I could have the information there and I could have somebody presenting the information here, or I can just go back easily to full screen like that. And I can just click save. I can also crop the picture if there's parts of it I don't want. I can animate the picture so it zooms in and zooms out. So I can have it starting at that point and ending. There we go. Oh, let's just come back for a second, actually. Here we go. That's it. Double click on there. So it's going to start and then end. That's not picking that up for some reason. Typical. That's because the fade is on. There we go. That's better. So it's going to start small and it's going to end not that big. Yeah, there we go. So that's going to be the end of it. And now we can play it. And here comes the tiger. Now, obviously, at the moment, we haven't got anybody in there actually speaking. If we haven't got the luxury of being able to record ourselves, again, we can go back to that stock media on the top left-hand side. And we could say news presenter, maybe, and see what's in there. So we've got news presenter kind of people. This one's in a green screen. So we're going to use him. And I'm going to put him above the tiger. Okay. And if you're using green screen, it's really important that you have your green screen above the level of anything that you want to show behind it. Now you see that's quite long. So I can just click and drag that and take it back and make it a lot smaller. And we can do this. This is showing up quite large because of the, oops, there we go. Click off that. There we go. There we go. Right. Bear with me a second. There we go. It's gone massive. That's why. There we go. So you can always use that slider to shrink and grow things at the same time. So I want him to be on screen for the same amount of time. You'll notice that's picking it up and moving it. And I don't want to do that. I want it to still be in alignment. So I'm going to have it here. I'm going to click on that. And now I'm going to drag it down. So I've got that orange edit line. That's the key bit, really. Okay, if you've got the orange edit line, you can play around with it. Now, clearly this guy is quite large. So what I might want to do, like I did with the tiger, I can double click on this. I can come back into the fit and the scale, and I can scale him down a little bit because I'm going to remove the green screen. It doesn't really matter what size he is. I'm going to do it around about that size. And then I'm going to come up here. There we go, to the color keying aspect. Okay, so that little person icon, I'm going to select the color by using the eyedropper, picking up that green, and you can see it's taking it away. So now what will happen is we'll see our news presenter appearing in front of the tiger. Okay. And the only thing left to do really is to give it some audio. And this is what the other thing I really love about WeVideo is that you've got the option. Yes, there's stock media, but you can add your own media at any point. So you can upload a report that you've already made as an audio file or an MP3, but you can also narrate straight into that. So at this point, I'm just going to say, right, I'm going to narrate to add some information. And it tells me in a second, it's going to play the video alongside me. I can have the video muted so that we don't have an overlay of sound, but basically I'm going to be able to commentate on what's going on. So I can click record here. It counts me in. And the main news tonight, there's a tiger on the loose in Battersea. And he's really, really big. And I can just do it like that. I can then play it back and make sure I'm happy with it. The main news tonight, there's a tiger on the loose in Battersea. And he's really, really big. And if I'm happy with it, I can save it or I can record it again if I want to. I'm not precious, so I'm just going to save that. And this is obviously a very basic example, but pretty straightforward. So what we've now got is our entry. We've got our information here, and we've got somebody presenting it using a little bit of green screen. If we wanted to bring in anything else at all, we can do from any of our folders that we can share and add to at any point. Okay, and we'll look at that next up. So we've got backgrounds, we've got transitions, we've got some audio in there now. What we haven't got is any text. So I'm just going to add some more text in. Now, because I want it to appear here during this section, I've used up that space already. So all I need to do is to add another channel. And it's going to be a video channel because I'm going to put graphics into it. And it just puts it above here. I'm then going to go to text. And I've got a number of options. I've got motion texts. So things like these ones where you get elastic snaps and customized messages and film trailer kind of ideas. There's static text. You've got seasonal text like graduations and things like that. And you've also got the option for call outs and those kind of things. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a motion one, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to find one that kind of looks a bit like a banner that scrolls across the bottom of the screen. There we go. Let's go with that one. So all I do is I click and drag. I can put it right at the start if I want, or I can have it appear at any time. So I'm going to have it appear there. If I double click on it, it tells me what's my primary text and what's my secondary text. So I'm going to say here that there's a helpline and I want people to phone 0800 35 35 35, for example. Okay. I might not like that color because that doesn't really match our news theme. So I can change that and then just click save, and that will appear at the bottom at the same time. So when we preview, and the main news tonight, there's a tiger on the loose in Battersea, and he's really, really big. So you can see now that you've got that information scrolling or appearing at the bottom of the screen as well. Okay, so pretty straightforward so far. The only problem we've really got here is that our video is probably usable at this stage, but it's still called My Video. So we're just going to go up here and click, and we're going to rename it. We're going to call it News Tiger. Ooh, or Toga. There we go. And I'm going to click OK. And then I want a thumbnail for it. Now, it will automatically select a thumbnail, but a nice little trick I like to use is if you press Control and S or Command and S, wherever the blue line is, it captures the thumbnail that you have currently got on the screen. And then if I go to finish, I get lots. Oh, and you can see there, sometimes it misses it. It didn't quite catch that. So we just go back again, capture that thumbnail, and try again. There we go. So that one's the one I want, the breaking news thumbnail. I've got a choice whether I want to export it as a video, export just the audio, which is really useful if you're doing things like podcasts, and whether I want to make a GIF out of it, and I can choose a definition. So I'm going to choose high definition. It's automatically going to save into my WeVideo account, but I can also, if I want to, send it to my Google Drive, or I can send it to YouTube if I connect my YouTube account. But I'm going to set Google Drive here as well. So it goes into a folder in Google Drive that's created called WeVideo. And you can find all of your WeVideo recordings in there. And all I've got to do is click export. Now, one of the things I really like about this is you get this message here. You don't have to keep this window open. We'll send you an email when your video is ready. So you haven't got to sit here waiting for it to process. You can leave that altogether. You can leave WeVideo altogether, and you'll just get an email, a pop-up that will say your video is processed and ready. Okay. If you wanted to make a second version of this, you can now come in and you can edit that and you can export it again. So if you wanted to call it News Tiger 2, for example, you can do exactly the same thing and it's going to export a different version. So you can have multiple versions of the same thing. Okay. So lots of different options that we've got going on here. What we want to look at now is how we can create our own footage. So I'm just going to close that. You'll notice that there's little icons appearing up here. So this one's asking for a bit of feedback. This was a previous video that I made that is ready for downloading if I want to, but my other one hasn't appeared yet. So I'm just going to close that, go back here, Oops, one too far. Go back to my dashboard. And this time round, we're going to quickly look at media, because this is where you upload all of your content. So if you've got your own content that you want to upload, you can either create a folder by just creating a new folder, or you can select a folder and then you can add to it. So I've got here, for example, that folder, which is my folder. I can click on there. I can add anything from my drive. So I can connect to Google Drive again and collect anything from there. I could, if I was allowed to, through my settings, collect things from social media or from Dropbox or OneDrive. I can also come here and I can browse my desktop and my files to bring something else in. So if I wanted to, for argument's sake, use a image like this one, I just need to click on it, the event ring, and it starts to upload. And you can just click clear completed, and that will upload to that folder. And it gives you the progress import there as you're going through. So once you've uploaded all of that information, you can then use that to create your own. So again, we're going to go back to create new. We're going to click the little drop down again. So you can see we've got an option of creating a video, a recording, a GIF, or a podcast. So this time around, I'm going to go to recording. You do have the choice of how you want to record it. So you have the option to do kind of mobile phone style or square or horizontal. And the beauty of WeVideo is it is device agnostic. It will work on any device. So it will work on a Chromebook. It will work on your mobile phone with the app. It will work on a Windows machine or a Mac, which is fantastic. Okay, well, I'm just going to go with a new recording. And I'm actually going to use WeVideo now to create a screen recording of what I'm doing. So I'm going to call it a demo 1, and I've got the choice of the webcam, the screen, or both. So I'm going to go with both and just click next. And I can choose the camera I want. So I've got my camera going there, and I can choose default. Now, if I want to change the background that I'm showing on my camera, because I'm using the app, I can quite easily make myself a green screen background. Okay, so I can just toggle that. There are other ways of doing it, but you can do it this way. Okay, and that enables me to green screen myself out later on. So I'm just going to click next. I'm going to choose the screen or the window that I want to record and just click share. And you can see it's counting me in. So what it's now doing is it's enabling me to record and screen share this, so that if I want to show people how to choose a transition, I can just click here and I can choose a crossfade, but that will only work with some media. So let's put some media in there. Let's add in a plane, for example. See what we can find. There's a jumbo jet. I'm just going to drag it into the video content. And then there's another one going a different way and drag that in. But I want a nice seamless transition between the two. So all I need to do, go to transitions, and I'm going to use, I think, crossfade there. And when I preview that, it prepares my preview. So I'm going to have the plane flying above the clouds for 11 seconds. Sometimes it just takes a little while to process what you've put in. Can depend on what else your device is doing at the time. There we go. So there goes our plane. And then we get our nice little fade transition to the other one going there. Okay. So just stop that. I want to add another image, maybe of a plane landing. I can come in for this one, just drag it down again. And again, I can just add another transition. This time round might want to be a cross zoom. And I'll just do the same. And again, I can play it from wherever the blue line is. That's where the preview is going to play from. There we go. Now, at the moment, as we said, I'm screen recording. So if I come down to the bottom here, I've got the option to stop sharing. So I'm going to do that. And it's showing me what I've recorded. But what I love about this is it records me and the screen in two separate tracks, which means you can play around with both of them separately. You can play around with the audio separately, and you can just really have a lot more fun with it. So I've saved that. It's added it in here. Here's all of those bits and pieces. What I can now do is I can choose where I want me to be. So I'm going to double click on me like we did before. I'm going to choose where I want to be. So I think I'll be down the bottom right here. I can choose to be a bit bigger if I'd like, just so I stand out a little bit more. And then I can come to my chroma key and use that eyedropper. Come on. Not picking it up. Come on. There we go. So that's now taken that out of the background. And I can save that as a change. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to appear over the top of that screen recording. So what it's now doing is it's enabling me to record and screen share this. So that if I want to show people how to... I just jump through a little bit more so you can see you're on screen at the same time. If I didn't want myself on screen at this particular point, but I do want to be there at the beginning and at the end, exactly the same as I did before, I can come back to the opacity. I can click, create a little white dot, create another one, drop it right down to 0, create another one, drop it right down to 0, create another one, and take it back up again. So now if we play it, I'm going to gradually disappear. See what we can find. There's a jumbo jet. I'm just going to drag it into the video content. And then there's another one going a different way. Drag that in. So there we go. Seamless transition. And then here, I can come in for this one, just drag it down again, and we gradually appear again. Just add another transition. And you can do exactly the same with the audio as well, if you want that in there in the background or not. So you can choose what you use and when, and whether you want things full screen or not. The other thing you might want to do is to zoom in on something. So in this case, for example, when we got to here, I might have wanted to show how we click and drag something. I can just make sure I'm clicked on the video track. Okay, make sure that's got the orange edit bar. I'm going to put a snip in there. I can now double click on this and then resize again. So I can zoom right in and I can move it around so that we can see we're here and we're doing it like this close up. And then I can move along a little bit and then put another snip in, go to the other one and just put it back to normal. And now what's going to happen is as we go through this, and I'm going to use, I think, crossfade. We zoom in there. When I preview that, and when we get here, we're going to zoom back out again. Here's my preview. I'm going to have the plane flying above the clouds for 11 seconds. There we go. So it jumps back out again. Okay. So nice, easy way of pulling everything together. Pretty straightforward. And we can add text in over the top as well. The main thing is your green screen probably needs to be your top layer, and anything that you want underneath behind the person who's in that green screen track needs to be below it. You can, of course, still have other information in front. So if I had another video track, if I wanted something in front of me, I can come and say, for example, have the text. I can choose, let's go for something slightly different this time. Let's go for that one. I can drag that in. I can choose how long I want it to appear for. Oops, here we go. So I can drag it out. It can appear for the whole length of that time. I double click on it again. Click on the speech bubbles to see the text. Now I've got main text and secondary text. So my main text is going to say me, and the secondary text is going to say BBC News or whatever. Okay. And now as we play the video, that's going to appear over the top. So if we do the preview, So what it's now doing, we can see that scrolls in. Record and screen share this. Now, I might like that, I might not, but at any point I can just come back and say, do you know what? I don't like that. I'm going to either use an effect with it. So the sound effects don't apply, but you've got image effects that you can use. So you've got like things like sepia, black and white, vignette, and so on. So you can add those. But actual sound-wise, don't need to mess around with it at all. So I'm just going to say, I don't want that. I'm going to get rid of it. And again, I can just go to finish and save that as a video. Now, the other really cool thing is if I go back to my main page again, here we go. Let me just finish that. We'll call it my video 2 in this case. So you can see I've got a choice of screenshots. If I want it to go to my Google Drive, I need to click on it. It defaults to WeVideo. Obviously, I'm just going to add it here. If I haven't got a lot of storage and things like that, or I want a quick result, I click SD and I'll get the slightly lower configuration. If I just want the audio, I click that and it turns it into an MP3 file. Okay. And the GIFs, which is what we're going to have a look at next, they will work up to 45 seconds. So up to 45 seconds works great as a GIF. So that's going to start processing. You'll see up here now, I've got this number 1, which is telling me that our previous video, News Tiger, is ready. So if I click on here, it takes me to that preview page. Oops, wrong one. There we go. And I can share it to Google Classroom, which is fantastic. I can edit the name and the description still. I can change the thumbnail if I still want to. I can change the privacy of it. I can add it to a gallery. I can download it. I can get rid of it, or I can share it to socials or via a link. So we can either embed it within a website, or we can use the URL link, copy that to a clipboard and share it. But a really useful way, if we decide to share to Classroom, we just click on Classroom, allow the access, and it's going to let us automatically create assignments in the classes that we've got going. Okay, so obviously some examples there, but not any of my current school ones because it's my personal account. So it's as simple as that, and that just adds as a Google Classroom document. You get all of your information here, so when it was created, how big it is, and everything else. So you can still go in and edit that at any point. If I download that, all that happens is I choose how I want to download it, click download, and it's just going to download into my downloads folder, and then I can upload that to YouTube if I want, or I can put it on a website, or I can add it somewhere else. It's as simple as that. But let's go back. Let's go to create new, and this time we're going to create a GIF. Okay, because I'm a hard G kind of guy. So I'm going to put it in demo 1, and we just want a GIF here for something I might use if I'm going with feedback for students. So I'm going to use stock media, and I want somebody who is excited. And I'm going to see what pops up. Okay, let's go with this woman here. She's excited and she's dancing. So I'm going to put her into WeVideo here, into the track 1. There we go. So that's her dancing around. It's a little bit slow. So what I can do is I can double click on this again. And whereas we've had before the animation and the chroma key and the color and the contrast, we've also got a speed here. So I'm going to make that double speed just by moving that along slightly. You can go to treble speed, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times the speed if you want to. But I'm going to go to double speed. You can also slow it down. So I'm going to double speed it, and it shrunk it right down. And that basically is a GIF all ready to go. But I'm going to add in there some text as well. So I want a bada boom style text to appear. So I'm going to drag that in here onto track 2. So it's over the top. Double click on it. And I'm going to say awesome sauce. And because I'm feeling very ginger today, I'm going to have my orange text there. And I can move it to wherever I want. and I can manually change the size to anything I want as well. So if I want that as 150, I can change that. If I want this one here as 140, I can change that, and it just jumps it a little bit bigger. Save the changes, and now our GIF would look like this. So a little bit more punchy. And it's as simple now as saying, right, this is my excited GIF, because I might use this for feedback with students. I might add it into a Google slideshow or something along those lines, or just have it on the board. And I'll click finish, and I'm going to export it as a GIF, and I've got a choice of sizes. If you're going to be using these on social media, the best one to go for is the small, because it works best. You might want to go for the thumbnail that doesn't have the writing on it, and then you can just export that. We can see that number 1's popped up again. So now my YouTube video 2 with the planes is ready. I can just click on that. I don't have to stay on my GIF. So I can click on that, and there's my video ready to go. We called it my video. If I just click on that, ooh, it's literally just come through fresh, so it might need a restart. Let's just refresh that. There we go. So now we've got the options underneath. So I've got the option there to edit the name and the description still. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to call it planes and save it. I don't have to go back in and re-render the video or anything like that. I can download it. I can share it to Classroom. I can share it to Facebook, to Twitter, or I can just grab a link, copy it, just copy to clipboard, and then put that into a Gmail or add it as a comment or anything I want to do, really. Really useful if you want to record visual feedback for students, because you can screen record, you can show them their screen, you can talk through your feedback, you can point things out on screen using your mouse and your cursor, and then you can then just use that link to post it back into the comments in their Google Doc or their Google Slides for them. Okay, so we've now got another one's appeared. That must mean our GIF's ready. There we go. So I can play our GIF, and I can download it as a GIF. And then what I can do, and I love this, as I mentioned earlier, I can just open up another window and say jam.new, open up a Jamboard, and any of the GIFs I make, I can add them into the background of our jam. So I'm going to set background, come to the image option here, and I'm going to do it by URL, sorry, not by URL, by upload. I'm going to browse, or I can just browse and drag. But there we go, upload our GIF. And that's going to upload to the background of our jam so that students actually can't interfere with it. They can't move it around or lose it or delete it by accident. That can just be sitting there in the back, showing your class how amazing it is to see them. And you can have that there, and you'll notice it takes up the whole screen. But you can also use that to do instructional videos as well. So you could make a GIF of something in process and have students write down their description of what's happening. It might be, for example, a tornado. What can they see is happening? What's causing it? It might be separation of tectonic plates. Could be anything you like, and you can just add it in there really, really simply. So you can pretty much create anything you want using WeVideo. And the other thing I really love, there's lots of things I love, is that you've also got, if I go back to video here, like I said, if you haven't got your own green screen, there's a whole raft of green screen things in that stock media. Okay, now it doesn't have to be very, very expensive. You can create a green screen. My first green screen was a 49p green plastic tablecloth from Amazon that I just hung behind me, and it works absolutely fine. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a new video. So let's go new, edit. There we go. We're going to go stock media. I'm just going to search here, green screen. And all of the green screen options are going to come up. So you can see we've got people with no faces, so we could potentially put our own one on. We've got TVs and laptop screens and big screens and things like that. really useful. Massive outdoor cinemas, close-ups on pigeons, not quite sure why. iPhones and things like that, all in use. You've got lots of different options where you can go with them. So in this case, I'm going to use this student's big screen. This runs for 24 seconds. If I put it on this track and I chroma key that out, I'm not going to be able to get anything underneath it. So I've got to put it in track 2. I'm going to double click, go to the chroma key, select the dropper and take that out and save the changes. And now I can come back to my stock media again. And this time round, it might be a race of some descriptions going on. There we go, St. Petersburg, Russia. So I'm going to drag that in underneath. Just going to speed it up to make it look even more impressive. I'm going to use that 2 times again. And that's pretty much going to be the right length for the video. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this and I'm going to resize it so that it kind of fits on the screen. So I'm going to take it to about that sort of size and then make sure it fits there. Okay. And now when we play it, there we go. They're still not running very fast, even though it's at +2 or ×2. But you get the idea. So you can display anything you want in that background. It could be you, it could be other students, and it's great fun to let students create their own projects, their own news recordings, anything you want them to do, really. Okay. Hayley, is there any questions or anything at this point?
No questions. I have taken so many notes. I'm learning so much. The main things I'm noting down, and I knew already about linking to Google Drive. I like everything being in one place. And I think for me, I have avoided green screening myself.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It's something, and you've got your wee green screen background on at the moment. And I
Yeah.
must say, seeing that, it made sense. It's that first layer's the back, then every layer you add on from there.
It's worth saying as well, you can really make use of Google Drawings with green screening as well. So if I go to my media here, and if I go to my green screen folder, you can see here, I couldn't afford my own Jamboard. So I created one using Google Drawings. So I just got an image of a Jamboard and I created a square and I just filled it with the chroma key color, downloaded it as a JPEG, uploaded it into here, and now anytime I want to use this, I can just grab this in. There's my Jamboard. I can have it running as long as I like. And again, I can just double click, use that chroma key, take it out, and then I can have myself underneath. It could be anything I want. It could be stock media. So if I wanted, for argument's sake, I don't know what we've got, but let's have a look at school. And like I say, the media is vast. There's over 1 million in there. So there's an aerial view of kids walking in school there. And then I might want, for example, some high school students there. I can add the two together really, really easily and then just play it as it is without even messing around with it. We can jump from them being in the main foyer to now looking at our Jamboard.
And I think the thing for me there is you play around with it, don't you? You take
Absolutely.
time to suss it out. I, like yourself, was very new to WeVideo and any kind of video editing last year. I use a Chromebook and needed something to work there that was straightforward. I haven't gone through all the help guides and just sat and pressed buttons to see what they did. I love things that are online because I feel like I'm not going to break anything if it exists on the internet. And they are really useful and straightforward to use. A couple of things I noted down is just if you have been making videos to support your students over the last year or 13 months we're at now, you can go into this and edit them. So if you refer to your current class, any current students, if it's a group, edit that out and you've got a resource that's good to go for next year, following years. So if you're explaining processes, strategies, you have that video there that you can share into your classroom. Your hair might change, your appearance might change from age, but the content's there. That's all our students really care about. If
Exactly.
you're like me, the first time I used WeVideo, I went through and painstakingly removed all the ums and the ahs.
Yeah.
Don't have to do
No,
that.
just be normal, be
What a
yourself.
waste of my time.
There you go.
So yeah, little things like that. But really, I love that you don't have to sit and wait for things to export. That's my
Absolutely.
favorite thing. That it does send you an email to say it's ready if it's a large file, and you can just see that and go, right, take a wee coffee break, and you're good to go.
Yeah. And prime example here. This is an 11-second video. Obviously, because it's a video, you can't extend it. But what you can do is put 3 or 4 of them in there, and then you can say, right, this is going to be my jellyfish, and this could be, a great little do now starter task for a science lesson or an art lesson even. There you go. Right, let's go finish. Export it as a GIF, small. We can put it on screen. We can have it on the background in our Jamboard or in the background of a Google slide, and that's going to be available to us. And we can just say to the students, right, describe what you see, paint what you see, explain what you see. And it's just a little bit more engaging and a bit more mysterious than, say, for example, a just solid image of a jellyfish.
Exactly. One question I have,
Yep.
so does it have to be a green background in WeVideo?
No, it
Or
can be blue as well.
super.
To a certain extent, you can do it with any color, but it's more successful if it's sort of a royal blue or the chroma key green. But I cheat quite a lot because, like I said, I use Google Drawings to create mine. I use the eyedropper extension, and I've just got the chroma key, which is that one there, B14. There we go, B140. And then when I create my stuff in Google Drawings, I can just use that hex code there to make sure I get the exact color, and I can play around with it and do whatever I like. So you can have, disco going on the windscreen of a lorry. You can have, tigers running around loose in schools. You can do whatever you like.
And I think
But
it's about making it fun for you to learn. And I think that's what I gained from using this as a video editor.
yeah,
And it helped me with my confidence. I could see all my different edits as I tried. And my absolute favorite verse, I've used a few other screen recording tools, but the fact that your video is separate. So
yeah,
the video of you sits separately to that of the content. You can keep the voiceover. You don't have to be on camera the whole time. You can remove it. You can
yeah,
change your location, the size of you. I know it's quite often when we share our screens, we're fixed to one place on the screen as we're sharing. You can move yourself out the way, fade it if you're showing an option that ends up being behind you. All these things, they are certainly the ones I've made most use of. I tend to do a lot of how-to videos. That's
yeah.
my use of it. I've not actually explored the stock media yet, so that's my next step after today.
It's brilliant. And like I say, the GIF creator is excellent. Even for the simplest of things like this, really, really straightforward. Or, I'm a language teacher. So if you want to just have a repetitive GIF going on the back of your whiteboard, that's just basically how you conjugate a verb. You can do that because you can add the text, you can play around with it, and they can see it in action on repeat without having to ask. And for a lot of students, putting your hand up and asking is worrying. So if it's just there and they know, the most they've got to wait is sort of 30 seconds and it's going to go around again. Well, how useful is that?
And it's that ability to self-pace, isn't it, and
Yeah,
choose and direct their own learning. I'm a primary teacher by background, and for me, it's a way of easily creating ways of sharing our sounds and our phonics and our number work, where we're trying to explain how we use those sounds in the classroom, and it doesn't always translate to home, but having an area where we can create that content doesn't have to be shared straight away. We can
absolutely.
work on it and then share it on Classroom or just via the link or on your school website quite
Mm,
easily to support families. I'm just going to put
absolutely.
a link in the chat
Hmm.
for a feedback form as well for today's session before I forget to share it. So we would love your feedback on today's session, and there is a link. It will go in the chat. Should be there about now for you. And if you can please visit that to share your feedback. I'll remove myself now, Darren, and hand back to you for your last few slides.
Yep, thank you very much. Now, all I would say is just to finish up with, obviously, wevideo.com, dead easy to find. The Ideas Hub is also on the website, and so is the community. So if I go to wevideo.com again, we can see here, this is the education page. You can start your free trial really, really easily. But you've also at the top here got the Ideas Hub and you've got the community. So if you go to the Ideas Hub, you can see all sorts of other things that other people have created. So you can get inspiration, lesson plans. You know, this is perfect for students studying media, particular ideas around remote learning. There's a great little book creator app smash there made by myself and Rachel Kotup, which is a book creator WeVideo combo about how to use WeVideo. And there's loads of other examples as well. So you can filter by age group, by topic, by features, screencasting, green screening, and so on. And then also right at the very top there is that community aspect, where if you join the community, you've basically got a whole wealth of people that are able to help you, give you ideas. And the team at WeVideo are absolutely fantastic at keeping in touch with everyone. So all I would say is just give it a try, because like I say, a year ago, I'd never edited any videos at all. And now it's just like second nature.